Oh, hello. Welcome to the Lunar Masterclass. Or the TLDR because I'm on Wednesday and supposed to do this. Well, since we're here, might as well just start from the very beginning. Like what changed the Reaper and how, how it'll possibly if I can change how you play. Well, one of the things that, maybe kind of went unnoticed by most people is when you press Z, just spacebar resets. It's pretty hidden fact actually. It's kind of difficult to mention these kinds of things in the guide because it's already so back to text. So stuff like this and like Luna being different now. Not that it gives like 10% crit rate, but this is only for soup effects. As I'll explain later, this doesn't affect some skills like Silent Rage. Well, you could just start from the very beginning. Luna didn't really change that much, aside from a few QOL changes. These days, what was formerly known as Moonstriker is now the mainstay of the Luna. Well, at least the one familiar to most people, at least. Uh, Let me change. Step on some wall here. Well, this will be like the major fucking. Well, this is considered standard. For most people not familiar with this, basically you swap out distortion and nightmare for Paw of the Knife and blackness. This will be your main set of skills from now on. At least for standard. So this is the standard skill. So you would run these skills. Well, you can pick any. You can pick Shadow Snatch, which, it's fine if you don't need weak point. Continuous score and follow this way. This one can be level 7, but yeah, this one can be level 7, but usually you kind of want the insurance. So you have 2 stacks, so in case you miss, you still have another one to use. The other one is Black Mist, which, you pick this one, which increases your move speed. This one, and this one. This one's a little funny because, with this tripod, you have less movement speed. You're very, very slow, but with this one, 30%, minus 30%. So you're kind of just zooming now with Black Mist. So yeah, why do we drop distortion? It's because, it's not that great. It's not that great of a skill. It has never been that great of a skill. Like, even gonna run it now. Like, it's this one and this one. Yeah. It's not very good. The reason is, it just doesn't give, like, that much gauge. compared to something like management, you know. It's like almost all of the gauge and all the knife, which also gives a lot of gauge. Also, the fact that you're forcing yourself in the front, it's not, it's not great. Even if you have nightmare, no, nightmare, it doesn't give that much gauge. Like, why are you gonna pair this with? It feels really cold. It's not that. It feels really clunky to use, so that's why you kind of just drop the skill off. Like, even if it's nice, the fact is, you have Z. You have spacebar, you Z, you use spacebar again. It's more movement than distortion. You might as well just use something that, you know, at least you can recover with. If you fuck up, you have this as your insurance. So that's why, you know, just toss this away. Good. You have everything in your mobility. You have X, your Nightmare now. It's free. You have Z, spacebar, Z, spacebar. You're already, like, moving faster than most classes. Tenacity in Black Mist? That's a good question, because this skill gives a lot of gauge, but this one kinda kills a bit of that gauge. It's good, but you have to hold it for longer. I had to hold it for like almost half the duration. Of course, you can just put this gold and wealth on it. But the fact is, you're still kind of trading something else for it. Where's the wealth from? You're still trading something for it. You have to hold it for like almost half the duration, which it's not horrible. But the fact is, you kind of want to just have fast gauge. You don't need tenacity on this skill, because your Z is tenacity. You just have pushing in. So you don't need it. Like, sure, you can't do it like on will, but neither can you do this on will either. You need to use this for gauge. So yeah, this one is way better. You don't even have to like hold it as much. Just a bit, and you're already almost full. So yeah, this is not about distortion, of course. So this is not just standard. You can use this or this. Continuous call. All this way. I would use this just cause, you know. Might as well just leave it there and forget about it. It gives quite a bit of gauge too. So now your cycle will be Shadow Storm, Brightness, Vortex, or Trap, Vortex. That's your cycle. Of course, you need to have 4 of this Vortex, as I wrote in the guide, because you're still kind of bound to 4 Vortex. As the skill is pretty high cooldown compared to the rest. You don't have to hold it at all, because the bulk of your gauge comes from this. You hold it. This lingering effect is what gives you the most of the gauge. So you don't need to hold it. It's very, very fast. So that's why this is king. Yes, so is this one. For glowing brand, you know, I guess I can talk about the reds real quick because they got changed a little bit. So the thing is, usually when you're just hitting the boss, and then sometimes the boss wants to jump away, and then you can't fit in another gauge builder and persona with the red, and sometimes you just send the reds. This is a little bit weaker now because they took away some of the crit from the skills and put it into Luna. As you can see, Luna is now sub skill damage, crit rate and attack speed. That means when you're in Z, this is when the crit rate happens. So if you're like trying to send like a last minute, this might be weaker. You might crit a little bit less. So that's one thing to note. Not that you shouldn't throw anyway. You should still throw if you think the boss is jumping away. It's still damage. Cadenza versus Requiem. I think this is honestly preference. I've tried Cadenza. Cadenza is really fucking easy to use. Like, you just like it's kind of easy. Just forget about it. Of course, it doesn't give like if you're slow. It's worse if you're like not. You're kind of slow, or the boss kind of jumps away. It's because sometimes the boss just jumps away, and you kind of want the boss to be in the potential. It's not like before where you just click once, forget. It's still kind of forget, fire and forget, but it's a little bit more difficult to use. Because the boss has to stay in it for the second one. I would still recommend this because it's kind of you don't really have to think about it. This one is really strong, but the thing is, it's it's kind of difficult to use. Sure, it's not resetting. There we go. The thing with Requiem is that you're kind of cross moving. It's very difficult to control. Plus, it's not really, like, yeah, you still have to press like Vortex if you really want to dump everything. And like you're still kind of waiting for the HP to come back. It's fine. I still recommend Cadenza. It's just easier. You're not like stuck doing this animation, trying to fumble with it. Just use Cadenza. It's just easier. Well, the other one is... Oh, I was talking about Reds. Well, for it is like... I will talk about that later, but for now... Glowing brand is like, you pick whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I don't really recommend this, even though it's like, oh, you can go through the boss. There are some bosses that you don't really want to use this, like the triangle bosses. Or like the bosses that are really small, like Baldur's Gate 1 or Gate 4. I wouldn't really use this. But for the bigger bosses, like, Baldur's Gate 2, maybe you might want to consider this. Just because the boss is so like, really, he's like really, like, big. It's like 2 bosses worth. that you might want to consider it, but at the same time, you also have an iron. You can just use it. Honestly, preference sake, I wouldn't really use this. I would just use something else, like stagger or something. These two are still the same. They didn't get changed. Of course, this one got... Glowing Brand got lowered crit overall compared to before. Now it's only a 30% crit. With Swoop 20 plus 10. For DOF, you know, so you pick this one, and this one is mostly preference. I've seen people try and use this, which it's the same speed as before, like before the patch, with this skill, which, you know, it's fine if you want to use it, but it's kind of backloaded at the same time, the skill. That was always the problem with this skill, it's backloaded. For this one, you know, it's really fast now, which is nice. Honestly, preference. You can take this, you can take this, or this. If you like a little bit more AoE on your skill, because this one does have a lot more AoE than the other one. It's pretty large. It's somewhere here. It's pretty big AoE. As for Rage Spear, this one, I couldn't tell you which one I prefer. I've been using this one and this one. This one's kind of whatever. Like, I don't think you would ever use Rage Spear for stagger anyway, unless you really had to. This was a little fun, because, you know, you can tap it and you still do the normal spear. And this one, you hold it and you can backstab, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like the Deadeye shotgun rapid fire tripod. Personally, I just stick to push. I mean, it doesn't really affect the speed of your rotation all that much. Sure, it's a little bit slow, but now that you don't take this one, it's manageable. It's still pretty fast. Of course, second row tripod is a bit of contention. There's a bit of contention between these two skills. But my personal take is you take ambush no matter what. This one's I really cannot justify taking this skill like anymore. This one turns it into the original. With the sub. So the skill is worded really weirdly. So the 10% base damage thing is the suck thing we saw. The suck and then the final component. But like I don't know, it's you should just take this one because it's faster. It's the sub is like barely more damage. It's quite negligible, honestly. You should never take this one. This one's like it's not good. This one's just much better. And of course you take this one. But yeah, that's for the reds. You know, pretty simple. Standards, you know. You build gauge, you dump them free. Very straightforward. And of course your purify rune is you put it on Vortex. I have pretty low spec compared to most people, but you know, you take Purify and Vortex and it's still enough. You just have a lot of gauge generation. It's straightforward. You can't go wrong with this. It's very simple. It's very fluid. And of course, we'll bring up Silent Rage now. So Silent Rage is a bit contentious with most people. Because some people say it's like it's the tits, and some people say, oh my god, it's so fucking clunky. So yeah, here. I'll start from the very beginning with the skill. So for the main 4R build, you drop or you drop Fallen Eye, but the major one I wanna cover is the one that feels the most complete. Well, at least feels the most I guess fluid. Yeah, fluid's the word to put. So you would run the same as before, but you would drop trap, and then you would take these three golden waffle for purple. I wouldn't recommend if you like don't have two purples. It's just makes it a lot harder to cycle because you're kind of short. Considering you only have like 4 builders and this one doesn't really build gauge. So yeah, let's put Silent Rage on. For Silent Rage, it's pick any. Honestly, doesn't matter. I pick weak point because it's free. Some people think this one is better. Some people think this one is cool too. Personally, I like Shadow after Image because this one. Honestly, I don't like it. I just like the forward momentum of this skill better. You don't really use this because I'll explain why. And this was cross smash. Anyway, for 4R, the gems are a lot different. So you skill on you. Or you can use Overwhelm if you think. If you wanna build more stagger, you wanna be a stagger boy for some reason, you can kill any Overwhelm you. For gems, it's a little bit different. So yeah, you see I have level 10s. For 4R, he dropped Glowing Brand cooldown for Silent Rage. And what was previously like the cooldown for like Shadow Trap or something, you would put it in Silent Rage and Glowing Brand. But you would remove Glowing Brand cooldown. So you have Silent Rage cooldown here, Silent Rage damage. Those are the two different gems. The rest are the same, like cooldown, damage cooldown. Oh no, not for Glowing Brand. Glowing Brand is just damage. Damage cooldown, damage cooldown. Yeah, and then the rest are cooldown. So I will hover over it. For this one, I would recommend at least level 9 Shadow Vortex. Shadow Storm, you kind of want it as high as possible if you can. Because these two are the major gating factors of 4R. You don't need like level 10s, I don't think you need it. Maybe it's Vortex. So you don't kind of mold over it. Shadow Storm, you want it as high as possible if you can. Anyway, the cycle of 4 is as follows. You have the usual two: Shadow Storm, Shadow Vortex, Lightness. Just a little bit. So you would Vortex, Call, Silent Rage, auto at once, and you're done. I'll repeat it again. Yeah, you have two normal cycles. So you have Vortex, Call, Silent Rage, Vortex. You have to auto like at least once. And you get your shit back. So I'll do a full cycle again. Oopsie. Well, you kind of get the point. I think I may have like changed something. Oh, that's why. My bad. Well, let's do this again. I was like, why is it like not resetting? So you kind of have to wait for Shadow Storm to come back. There's a little bit of waiting. So you see, it having the cooldown gem on Silent Reach makes this rotation extremely fluid. It's like, besides the the auto attack downtime, you're always gonna have downtime. I have like no swiftness. This is all purely from ropes. It might be different because maybe you have a swiftness bracelet or something. But yeah, I don't have swiftness at all. It's all from potions. So I have to auto a bit, which, it's fine. It's not really a big deal. Awakening and Nightmare. Nightmare you don't. Nightmare is literally just for movement. For Awakening, okay, maybe the Awakening part is a little bit, I have to explain a little bit. This Cadenza basically gives you like almost 2 full bars, and the fact is that this will inevitably fuck up your rotation in some way. You have to decide, okay, like I have a lot of gauge but not enough reds. This is when you decide to use Silent Rage with Persona. I can't tell you like, oh, in every situation and a raid, like, oh, when do you use this? It's when you have too much gauge and too little raids. Your raids are not off cooldown, and you maybe have Silent Rage off cooldown. That's when you may decide to use Silent Rage with Persona. It's still a lot of damage, like obviously, but I can't. The fact is, if you use this, you may need to use this in Persona. Like, okay, I'll do the rotation. And maybe I want to use this here. See, I don't have red skills on, so I use Silent Rage. That's how you decide to use it. The fact is, when you decide to use this in Persona, it's with this Awakening. So this is with Cadenza. Requiem, it's a little bit. I still don't like using this skill. I think it's still kind of a bit too much work for one skill. I wouldn't recommend using this when you're like cycling. Maybe like a gauge up. The boss comes back. You want to atropine, like maybe a con D3, the 140 boss. You want to burst. You can try your best. But it's really a lot of work just to get to this point. I don't think you get the four cycle even with this. Also, I have to mention, like, oh, maybe you have a reopener because you can maybe decide to use this. It depends. But yeah, I think Cadenza is still the way. You don't have to think much about it, and you can easily get back into cycling. I think with Requiem, you maybe if you really learn how to use this, it might be worth, but it's just not worth the upkeep, honestly. Trap instead of knife. Okay, this one's really dicey. I introduced this because it's the most stable of the 4 hours. Trap is really like Trap is nice. They have maybe like shit cooldown gems. Like say, you saw that we had a bit of downtime with Shadowstorm like this when we were doing with Call of the Knife. You do this. The thing is, you're stuck doing this. Like, it's not. You just don't get enough gauge. Oh wait, I gotta put golf on it, of course. My bad. Even with the wall, like it's golden wall. You're kind of stuck here. It's not good. Even if it means your Shadow Storm comes back earlier, you're just better off just taking Power the 9. Or like, oh, Shadow Storm's back, I just think it's way too clunky. You're stuck here. I just don't think it's worth considering. It's only worth considering you have level 5 gems. So yeah, I might strike this off the guide, but I will maybe just keep it and say like it's really not worth it. It's only if you have like level 5 gems. You can literally like just use Call the Knife. Sure, it's harder to hit, but you have insurance. You have Call of Despair. You have 2 of these. You're like, oh, maybe the boss, jumped away. I can just do it again. It's not that bad. I do use QP Shadowstorm. Yeah, you can use Wolf, but the fact is, what if you're doing like something that requires Purify and a gate? Why do you put your Purify? Silent Reach. It's pretty long cooldown. So yeah, just normalize having Purify on your Vortex. It's just shifting Silent Rage to second rotation using QPSS. I really use QPSS. You think it's easier? Oh no, it's the fact is you were kind of waiting on Call the Knife anyway. That's why you put Silent Rage here. Because you're using continuous call. What are you gonna do? Just walk around and wait until Call the Knife, finishes. The fact is, like the wait between rotations is not really that bad. I've played classes with worse downtime than this. I still have downtime. Like the maybe you have swiftness in your bracelet, because like I said, I do not have swiftness. It's a crit spec bracelet that I have. Like in no universe that this shit comes up. Oh, trap, you mean? I mean, trap is trap. Like, obviously it has this one. If you have a 9-7, you have a Gen 2. No, it's still fine. It's perfectly fine. As long as you go for master, so. If you have master, you know, a Gen 2 is fine. You might feel a little bit of pain and glowing brand doesn't hit as hard. With Swift Neck, these two pretty much do the same damage, honestly. I still wouldn't recommend it if you're like new, you're new to Reaper, new to Lunar. I recommend Crit Necklace, it's just easier. Yes, it's better. You just have like more reliable crits on everything. I think like no matter what, you're gonna run into some downtime. But for Swift Neck, you don't have to auto as much. Maybe, yeah. You will have too much crit on race wheel. I'm sitting at 95%. 95% crit with F22, yeah. 22 from entropy, 10 from back, 10 from Luna, 30 here. The fact is, like, these two still do a lot of damage. The Brand has a lot of damage still. I think it's like one of the harder things still. This one has less crit than Spear. It's worth overcapping a little bit. Like even if like, just overcap so maybe you still kinda hate Christian. You kinda want damage then. Shouldn't be too bad. You already have a 9-7. You have the correct engravings, so good luck with your auction house. Any other questions for 4R or standard or any like, things you want me to address? Going back to your thing earlier then, like obviously with trap, you're not you this thing will go off cooldown faster. Like the problem is trap just doesn't give gauge. Yes, silent rage cooldown gem. You get rid of going brand. It still comes off cooldown. You wait a little bit. It still comes off cooldown. This is without the gem. You see? It's only damage gem. So you take silent rage damage and cooldown. Glowing brand damage, yeah. And then obviously the bottleneck is Shadow Vortex and Shadow Storm. So try and get high cooldowns for those. Now, this skill doesn't really have that much value for cooldown. You can just keep it at 7. It's fine. Anyway, I think we're done. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask in the Discord. It used to be, yeah, but now I just don't see the point of it. You're not gated anymore. It used to be that you have too much gauge gen. Maybe if you play standard of Shadow Trap, you had too much gauge, so you're like, oh, I kind of want to cycle faster. So yeah, DOF had DOF cooldown was really good, but now you kind of have like equal gauge gen to skills. So now I don't feel like it's necessary to have it. I think I've addressed almost everything. If you have any other questions, of course, feel free to ask in the Discord, the unofficial Reaper channel, or you can ask me on my socials. Yep, Z Shadow Double is dead. It's too high cooldown. The only reason why Shadow Double was fine was because you had Shadow Trap. Even with level 10 cooldown, it's just too high cooldown. It's just too high cooldown. At some point, you're just gonna desync the skill. It's like dead in the ground. If you don't have Shadow Trap, Shadow Double just doesn't exist. As much as I love the skill, it's a really fun skill, but it's just not viable anymore. It's only good if you're playing standard. You place this, and you put back trap. This is the only way the skill lives. If you're playing 4R, this shit is out of question. You just don't play it. Unfortunately, as it seems. Well, thank you if you're watching and you ask a lot of questions. Uh, Feel free to ask in the comments or on my socials, on Discord, in the unofficial Discord channel for Reaper. Alright, just gonna do my dailies now. 4R. Yeah, sure. I can do that. Let me see if I have my shit for it. Okay. hello, do we just use X for counters now? Yes. Oh, movement. This one doesn't give gauge at all and it doesn't do damage. So yeah, use this whenever you need to. Since you have no counters in your skill set, this is your only counter. Obviously, it's different if you use Shadow Drop instead of Silent Rage, of course. Obviously, you're still kind of waiting on Shadow Storm. You just can't help it. You would just move every red one up in the cycle. There's no reason for you to use it. Like I said, Persona Silent Rage should only be considered when you have Cadenza. When you have too much gauge, you use Silent Rage. It's not worth using your gauge for this. It doesn't do that much damage compared to Silent Rage Spear. You would just move out your rotation. Like, oh, I'll fill it out. You just continue from here. Obviously, if you like, your Swift Neck instead of Trip, and after the cutscene, you didn't have time to Shadow Vortex, maybe. I would still just send it. Honestly, just send it. There's nothing you can do. You're a Swift Neck, and you're just gonna quit every 5 business days. The fact is, like, the cycles don't matter. You don't really match the cycles with the red skill. You just use whatever red skill you have. Ray Spear, Brand, Dance of Fury. That's your priority. And if you use Cadenza, Silent Rage is an option. It doesn't matter what cycle you're on. If it's up, you use it. Like if you have full gauge right now and you just came back from the cutscene, or the boss jumps back in after going away, you always start with Ray Spear. Just move everything else up. Use Shadow Storm. Instead of Silent Rage, you just go in Brand. Raids are entitled to cycle. The cycle is its own independent thing. Alright, last call for questions before I go. Yep, you can use Silent Rage whenever you want. I just use it because I kind of want to sit around, it's kind of slow. That's why the cycle is kind of like, that's why I put Silent Rage here. It doesn't matter where you put it because the cycle's the same, regardless. Cadenza is easier to use. last call for questions before I have to do my dailies and my weeklies. Yes, you can, but it's very, very, how should I say? It's difficult. It's not realistic to do in raid at all. The fact is, it's a skill that goes through a boss, and you don't really have skills that go through a boss besides nightmare, and you only have one nightmare. You just have to keep like dancing circles around the boss. It's just really annoying. Just take a danger. It's just easier. You don't think about it. You just use it, and you're done. Glowing brand second tripod first roll. Yeah, you can consider that. That's one way to use it, but I still think it's too much work. It's too much effort. But don't let what I say stop you, of course. If you want to use it, you use it. It's a free-to-play game. You play whatever you want. Just let it be known. It's a lot of work just to use this. Alright, I give you one more minute for questions. I don't think maybe you can do 4, but you're kind of gated at some point because the skill is like too high cooldown. Maybe if you force it in a way that going brand comes off cooldown first. Yep, continuous fall. I'm pretty sure I changed it in the guide too. Of course, it's way easier for the boss to just jump away, but still. That's why you take the call this way. Alright, time's up. No more questions. You have any more questions, of course. I'm always like free to talk on the Discord and official Discord and Reaper channel. You can talk to me on my socials. I'll post this on YouTube so you can comment as well. No problem. Anyway, I'm about to do my fucking dailies.